You're listening to Entrepreneur Encounter, the podcast where soft skills meet real talk for creative business owners who are building with purpose. I'm Dana, a Pinterest marketing strategist and agency owner helping wedding pros and creative entrepreneurs get seen without burning out.
And I'm Sarah, a business and team strategist who helps small teams and podcasters communicate clearly, lead with empathy, and grow sustainably. Together, we're unpacking the messy, meaningful side of entrepreneurship, from boundaries to burnout, leadership to listening, so you can build a business that actually fits your life. Why is it that sometimes you feel like you're the biggest obstacle in your own business? I mean, you're talented, you're driven, you care about your work, and yet there's certain situations that still hit you hard, like harder than they should, because you're overthinking, you're being your own obstacle in your business.
Like when a team member, if you're lucky enough to have them, or maybe a coworker, if you're in a professional setting, asks you a simple question and suddenly you feel irritated. Or, and sometimes in my case, a client emails you and your whole chest tightens for no logical reason. And then you start wondering, like, why did I react this way?
It's funny enough, I actually had a call with a potential customer today, and I had to pause for a moment, because they were asking questions. And when we think about asking questions, right, people will assume certain things. You assume they should know X, Y, and Z, but they don't. So I was at this point where I want to just react, but I knew that if I was short, had an attitude, things probably wouldn't be as great. So reacting, you have to kind of step back and not react to certain situations, especially like if you're feeling irritated, you got to be self-aware of who you're talking to and how you react to certain things.
Absolutely. Because that tension, it doesn't mean you're bad at business. It's just a skill that honestly, I don't think too many of us even think about, let alone that we've been taught. Because self awareness, like simply put, is your own patterns, triggers, strengths, or blind spots, and understanding how this impacts the people around you. So you don't have to have enough strategy, discipline, or systems. You just need to understand how you operate internally and how that affects the people around you. And you can do that without making everything feel heavier or taking everything so personal than it needs to be.
Exactly. And I just wanted to bring up something too, because like being self-aware, I don't know if it has to do with becoming older or the generation that we're in or whatever it is. But I think like after building a family, growing a family, becoming older and becoming more in tune with like my emotions. I mean, I used to like react to things when I shouldn't even have to react to things. It wouldn't make no sense because I was irritated or somebody is getting on my nerves. But they're again, like you have to, it's like you got, self-awareness does take time. Yes, you could be having a bad day and all you want to do is be by yourself, but you have to, it's business. Like it's time to have that discipline and like focus on your work. And then somebody asks you a question, you're like, oh no, not again. Like, why is this question coming up again? But when you recognize, like you said, like those patterns, like, okay, why am I irritated in this situation? Did I not get enough sleep? Am I not eating enough fruits and vegetables to help me, be healthy? Like my go-to is tomatoes. I know that sounds like super weird.
I
Like,
remember that.
but honestly, like, you gotta figure out what that is so that those triggers can be less, so that you're able to react to a situation without the tension. So it's not so heavy.
Too often I've seen personally and professionally where someone I know it like just keeps snapping at the people around him. My kids are like that sometimes. And like during just like regular old, like in everyday life, we're just interacting in the living room and their tone just comes out super harsh. And it's not because they're just, a jerk for being a jerk. They're overwhelmed by something. Like every behavior is a need. And most of the time because we aren't taught how to be self-aware. We don't know what those needs are. So we just kind of snap, but we don't know why we're snapping. And so that's where it's important to figure out, like, to realize how your stress in these situations is coming out and being aware of the tone. Because a lot of times, like I tell my kids, it's not what you're saying, is 100% how you are saying it to me right now that has me like my mom ears tingling. And it's like that with clients. Like, why are you snapping at me? Why is your email so short? Like,
Yeah.
what's happening under the surface? So with clients, I will get to the point, like, I'll let you snap a little bit because I have learned it's usually not me. It's
Mhm.
something else is going on. Let's figure out what it is. So eventually I will say, I can tell you're upset with something. I don't know if it's me and the work that I'm doing or if you are just stressed, but I am here to help you and I would love to support in whatever it is that you're doing. It has, even if it has nothing to do with Pinterest marketing or content marketing that I help you with. And typically how it works out is from their perspective, they feel totally fine. They just feel busy. And you don't realize that your team or your partners or your community are experiencing something completely different. And that's where the power of self awareness comes in. When you don't know how you're showing up, you accidentally will be sending the wrong message, and it could be doing long term damage to your business, whether that's through revenue, through referrals, through anything.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think this is why, like, I've learned to not read so much into like emails or texts because sometimes you can't really read the tone. I mean, sure, I guess depending on what the words are, but this is why I like to have conversations like over the phone or face to face, like, having those conversations to kind of like, hey, like, what's going on? Like, I've been told that I've been calm to people's storms before, and I'm like, oh, that makes me feel good, like I'm not looking for validation, but knowing the fact that like I can just listen to somebody and just kind of like let them vent and let them get whatever's on their chest off, and just know that these people are human. Everybody's going to have bad days. We all have those bad days. And I've seen this happen too, where people are like, I don't want to work with this client anymore because they have a bad attitude. Like, how often do they really have that bad attitude? Or, have you sat down and had a conversation with them? I mean, I can understand maybe if they have a bad attitude literally 24/7 with you, that's a different story because that's just another can of worms that you don't want to be involved in. But it's
That's
like,
some red flags to utilize find during your discovery call or something.
yeah, I mean, if they're short during a discovery call and be like, okay, wait a minute, like, is this, now you start to question, like, are you like this all the time? Like, or another example is if that you're wanting to hire somebody for your team, when you are in that interview process, like, be self-aware of like how you communicate with them and how you ask questions, because that is setting the tone again for your business, for the culture in your business as well. Because I've been in interviews or I've had conversations with people in the past, and I'm like, "Oh, this is gonna be a great place to work at." And then it's not, because now like things come out of the woodworks like, "Oh, this is not how it was in the interview." But I think we all have to kind of step back and have those conversations.
And the good news is, becoming more self aware doesn't require a personality overhaul. I know that makes me feel better. It's small, simple shifts that are going to make a huge difference in the way that you show who you are and like how people experience anything with you. So I always start noticing the reactions when your body tightens or your energy drops. Take a moment to pause and like, really, what just happened? Am I hungry? Do I need a snack? Is that why my energy dropped? Or is this a task that no longer lights me up and I need to outsource it? Are you tightening up because it's conversations that you're not comfortable with or you don't know how to explain? Are you not confident in the services that you provide? So then you tighten up when someone asks you a question. Like, give yourself time to pause and really figure out the root to the best of your ability. And if you can't, find someone, a safe friend, coworker,
Mhm.
and like try to, I call it word vomiting, but just let it flow to them, and they have that fresh outside perspective, and they might be able to help you see something that you can't see.
I used to get upset when people said things because I wasn't self-aware. Like I wasn't aware of my emotions. I just took everything at face value. Like you're saying this, so I'm going to get upset because I find it to be very rude. But I think that was probably me in like my early 20s, right? Like finding myself and becoming who I am and all that stuff. But now, like, I want to dig deeper. Like, yes, I want feedback. So, what can I do better at this? Like, I want to know because if I don't know, how am I going to get better? You're not overhauling your whole entire being. Like, I want to be aware of what I'm doing, and sometimes we're not. I want to grow. I want to be a better version of myself tomorrow. And I think that's a great goal to have for anybody. And realizing, like, okay, these are my triggers. Like, maybe I need to sleep an extra hour or whatever it is. Like, you have to take back that control and know that if you are talking to somebody that's in your safe space, know that they're there to support you. Like, if I talk to you, Dana, and like I had a conversation with you, like, I feel comfortable enough to come to you and have these conversations. Like, tell me what's wrong. What am I doing wrong? Like, I don't understand. Like, again, before I would have, like, I don't want to hear what you have to say because I'm me and this is who I am. So I don't think I need to change. And there's this one time when someone said that I crossed my arms too much and that was intimidating. And I was so offended by that. I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, people don't want to approach you. And
Mhm.
I used to work with groups of people out in public and I used to cross my arms all the time. It was just me because that's what I did. I didn't realize that that's how I looked on the outside. And now to this day, I don't I don't cross my arms anymore. Like every time I go to cross my arms, I'm like, wait a minute. Like I think about that
Yes.
time, you know? And of course at that time I was offended by it, but now I'm just like, no, like I want to be perceived as a good like that I'm not intimidating.
I actually learned that lesson in high school. There was a teacher, he always stood with his arms crossed, and he was like, those nonverbal communications. I don't know how it came up in class. I don't remember that detail, but I know like he stood there like that to have an intimidating effect on the other students. It's like, I don't want you coming up and talk to me. I am not your friend. I am a teacher and I am here to control like what's happening in the hallway or what's happening in class. And then I remember that for years, even to this day. And so when I'm going to networking events or I'm sitting in my co-working space, like even at the table, I'll fold my arms, I'll touch myself. So I have to do something with my arms. And so like how am I showing up in meetings? Well, I want you to be able to talk to me. So I put my hands together and then they're on the table, but it's still like an open triangular
Yeah.
space. And so
Yeah.
that communicates I'm open and like I'm ready to have a conversation
Mhm.
as
Yeah, no, for
opposed to if
sure.
your arms are crossed, you're closed off and you are not approachable.
Yeah.
So I think that's good feedback though to like request how do I show up in meetings? How do I show up on a daily basis? As terrifying as that question is to
Mhm.
ask, you will learn so much from that one question. And then when you have your weekly L10 meetings,
Mhm.
you should add like a reflection question. Where did I lead well this week? Where did I get in my own way? Or where did I get in my team's way? And notice, write it down because those patterns are going to start showing the truth of how you come across, whether you mean to or not. You're going to pick up on your behaviors and see, like, oh, I don't like how I'm being perceived. And maybe it's something small, or maybe that's like, I'm fine being perceived that way. And you change nothing at all, but you're not going to know until you start doing these reflections.
Yes, and post them on your wall. Like, I have this blank wall right here in front of me. I could just put sticky notes on here. Don't cross your arms.
That's a good reminder.
I mean, again, like self-awareness is like the foundation of a lot of the soft skills that we talk about. Communication, emotional intelligence, your boundaries, your resilience, your confidence, all of it. It's gonna make you a better leader because people are gonna trust you and then you're gonna trust yourself more. You're gonna understand them and yourself. And because your business is gonna start running a little bit smoother. Everything there's always room for improvement so that like you're not going to react to your old habits. You're going to respond from, again, from confidence and clarity.
And it's not about perfecting yourself because that's just a pipe dream that we tell ourselves. It's about getting honest with yourself and really honing in on creating something around who you are. Like, just like we've talked about on many episodes, like all time management practices, work, techniques. You just have to pick the one that aligns with you. And until you hone in on your self awareness, nothing's going to work because you have no idea. All the marketing strategies work. Not, these people would not have the money that they have for creating them. But you
Exactly.
have to pick one that aligns better with your values, with your triggers, with your energy levels, all of it, the season of life you're in, and taking that practice so that you can respond and grow from a clear mind of knowing who you are, what you stand for, and where you want to go is the best thing that you can do. So, for all those that have tuned in this long, here's your reflection for this week. Where is a lack of self awareness creating friction in your business right now? Genuinely take a few minutes, especially as we're entering into the holiday season and all of us are in our
Hmm.
strategic planning modes going into the new year. Really think about, like, take a moment to reflect on that. Like, and then to make it even simpler, what reaction do you keep having that you've never taken the time to explore? Now is the best time to take time to explore your reactions, your triggers, your any frictions in your business so that you can come out better, stronger next year.
Yes, you got this. And I would love to know what your reflection is. Like, what are your thoughts? Maybe you can grab the feedback from us and we can have a conversation. So you can definitely send us a DM on Instagram, which that's going to be in the show notes as well.
So, thanks everyone for hanging out with us today. These conversations matter because leadership isn't just about what you do, it's about who you're becoming. It's a very crazy mindset that you have to have. But whether you're growing your visibility through Pinterest marketing or streamlining your podcast operations and team management, Sarah and I will help you build systems that work for you and not against you. And like Sarah said, all of our information is in the show notes. And remember, growth starts the moment you get curious about yourself. Until next time. Thanks for spending time with us today. If something in this episode gave you a fresh perspective, share it with a friend or send us a DM. We love hearing how these conversations land with you.
And if you're curious about how soft skills can support your next season of growth, we each have more resources to share.
You can find Dana on Instagram at danas.desk.nc for Pinterest strategy and intentional marketing.
And Sarah at UR Rembert for team development, business leadership, and podcast support.
Until next time, keep leading with purpose
And growing with intention.